Okay, just think about it for a second. You charge your phone, you unplug it, and for hours, sometimes a whole day, this little device in your pocket just works. It's this piece of magic we totally take for granted every single day.
But have you ever actually stopped to wonder, where does that energy go? I mean, when you plug your phone into the wall, what is really happening inside that little battery? If you think you're just pouring electricity into it like filling a cup with water, well, you're in for a pretty big surprise. Because here's the thing, and this is the most important part. A battery doesn't store electricity at all. It's probably the biggest misconception out there. No, the energy is held in a completely different and honestly a way more interesting form.
To really get it, we need to uncover energy's chemical secret. This is where the real magic of a battery happens. It's not about storing electricity, it's about creating it on demand from the potential that's locked away in chemical bonds.
See, a battery is technically an electrochemical cell. It's a fancy term, but all it means is its entire job is to convert stored chemical energy into electrical energy. It's basically a tiny power plant that fits in your hand, not a tiny bucket you fill up with juice.
Yeah, the best way to think about it is as an energy converter. When you're using your phone, the battery is busy converting chemical energy into an electrical current. And when you charge it, you're just using electricity to reverse that whole process, turning electrical energy right back into stored chemical potential.
So how does this amazing conversion from chemical to electrical actually work? Well, to understand that, we need to go inside the battery and watch what I like to call the electrochemical dance. You know, every battery, whether it's in your smartphone or in a massive electric car, has three essential parts. You've got the anode, that's the negative side, the cathode, that's the positive side, and in between them, you have the electrolyte, which is kind of like a special highway. Now, this is the really clever part. There's a separation of paths. The electrons, those are the tiny particles that actually power your device, they're forced to travel on the outside through an external wire, which is, your phone circuits. Meanwhile, the charged atoms, called ions, travel inside the battery through that electrolyte highway. This forced separation is precisely what creates the electric current. But what makes everything want to move in the first place? It's this fundamental force called the electrochemical gradient. Now, I know that sounds super complex, but just think of it as a state of intense imbalance. You've got this huge buildup of chemicals and charge on one side and almost nothing on the other. Nature absolutely hates imbalance, and that powerful drive to even things out, well, that's the engine that powers the entire battery. A really easy way to picture this whole gradient thing is to think of a hydroelectric dam. You've got this massive amount of water piled up high behind a wall, just full of potential energy. And this quote just illustrates the idea perfectly. The chemical potential in the battery, that's like the water pressure behind the dam. The moment you connect your phone, you're basically opening the floodgates. The ions rush through the electrolyte like water spinning the turbines, and the electrons rush through your phone circuits, generating power.
Okay, so that powerful flow is great for using our devices. But what about charging? If using the battery is like letting water rush down from the dam, how in the world do we get it all back up to the top? This really gets to the heart of why some batteries are rechargeable and some are not.
The difference boils down to one simple thing: reversibility. In a single-use battery, that chemical reaction that makes electricity is a one-way street. Once it's done, game over. But in a rechargeable battery, like the lithium-ion in your phone, that chemical reaction is specifically designed to be reversible. So charging is basically just hitting the rewind button. You use electricity from your wall outlet to force those electrons and ions all the way back to where they started. This resets that chemical imbalance and rebuilds the potential energy. It's literally like using a powerful pump to push all that water back up into the reservoir behind the dam.
Okay, so if we can just rewind the reaction, why do our phone batteries eventually die, right? Why don't they last forever? And this brings us to the messy, real-world engineering problem of a battery's trade-offs.
The thing is, no process is 100% perfect. Every single time you charge and discharge your phone, a little bit of energy is lost as heat. It's just inevitable. But more importantly, the physical stuff inside the battery, the materials themselves, they slowly break down. Little side reactions happen that you can't reverse, and that causes the battery's maximum capacity to fade, cycle after cycle.
This chart shows the balancing act that engineers are constantly dealing with. Every battery is a compromise. So, for instance, let's say you want super fast charging and a ton of power for a performance car. Well, you might have to give up some lifespan or increase the cost.
For the battery in your phone, engineers care way more about a long life and safety, which might mean it doesn't have the absolute highest energy density possible. There's just no single perfect battery. Every design is a unique solution to a specific set of trade-offs.
But those trade-offs are getting better all the time. Scientists are constantly working on the next big leap forward. And right now, the most exciting frontier in battery tech is solid.
Yeah, solid-state batteries. They promise to solve a lot of the problems we've been talking about. The main idea is to get rid of the liquid electrolyte, that ion highway, and replace it with a solid, stable material.
And the benefits are just staggering. First, they're way safer because there's no flammable liquid to worry about. They could potentially last for over 5,000 charge cycles. That's 5 times longer than what we have now. They can charge incredibly fast. We're talking 80% in just 12 minutes. And they can pack way more energy into the same amount of space. This is the tech that could really, truly revolutionize everything. So the big question is, obviously, when are we going to see them in our phones and cars? The science is pretty much proven, but scaling up manufacturing to make millions and millions of them is a massive engineering challenge. But companies are pouring billions into it, so it's really a question of when, not if.
All right, let's bring this all home and lock in our new understanding of what a battery really, truly is.
The most important thing to take away from all this is simple. A battery is not a tank you fill with electricity. It's a beautifully engineered miniature chemical power plant that converts stored potential into electrical energy right when you need it.
And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. That simple, everyday act of plugging in your phone, it's not just topping something off. You are actively taking part in a controlled chemical reaction. You're using electricity to rewrite the arrangement of atoms and store potential energy. It's physics, right in the palm of your hand.